Have you ever lain in bed late at night, phone in hand, scrolling endlessly, watching people who seem to have already become the best version of themselves? The ones who wake up early, exercise, meditate, journal, drink green smoothies, and somehow still look calm, focused, and in control. And you tell yourself, tomorrow I start. Tomorrow I become that person. But morning comes. The alarm rings. You hit snooze. Once, twice, 3 times. And just like that, the life-changing habits you promised yourself get postponed again. So why does this keep happening? Why do we know exactly what habits could transform our lives, but still struggle to follow through? If you're ready to finally become the best version of yourself, stay with me, because the last habit on this list is the one most people completely ignore, and it quietly changes everything. A few years ago, I decided I was done waiting. I went all in on self-improvement. I downloaded every habit app, bought a journal, and set my alarm for 5:30 every morning. Day 1 was incredible. I woke up early, went for a run, ate a healthy breakfast, and wrote 3 pages in my journal. I felt unstoppable. Day 2 was still solid. I was tired, but I told myself, this is what growth feels like. Day 3, my alarm went off. I opened one eye, looked at the time, and made a quiet deal with myself. Just today, I'll start again tomorrow. Tomorrow came, and then another tomorrow. Within a week, I was back to my old routine. But the worst part wasn't the routine. It was the story in my head. Maybe something's wrong with me. Maybe I'm not disciplined enough. Maybe I just don't have what it takes. Sound familiar? Back then, I believed something a lot of people still believe. If I just find the perfect routine, the perfect system, the right set of habits, everything will suddenly click. That idea sells well. It sells courses. It sells books. It sells the dream that transformation is just one system away. And it's usually wrapped in one catchy claim. It only takes 21 days to build a habit. But that idea isn't really a scientific law. It's more of a motivational slogan that kept getting repeated until it sounded like fact. Real research tells a different story. A study by researcher Philippa Lally found that habits take much longer to become automatic, on average around 66 days, sometimes even more. So if you struggled after 1 week, you weren't broken. You were normal. But here's the deeper truth. Habits alone don't change your life. Identity does. Psychologist Carol Dweck's research on growth mindset shows that people who believe they can improve, who see their abilities as flexible rather than fixed, tend to grow faster over time. So the real question isn't just, what habits should I start? The real question is, who am I becoming? And once that question changes, everything changes. And if you're thinking, I've tried habits before and they didn't stick, stay with me, because habit number 4 is going to explain exactly why that happens. Now let's talk about the habits that actually change people. Habit 1. Exercise regularly. Most people treat exercise like punishment. I ate badly, so I must suffer. But here's the reframe. Move because you respect yourself. Exercise isn't a penalty. It's a signal to your brain that you care about the person you live in. And that signal builds mental clarity you can't fake. Habit 2. Adopt a growth mindset. One word keeps more people stuck than almost anything. Can't. I can't focus. I can't change. I can't improve. Replace it with one word. Yet. I can't do this yet. That tiny shift turns a wall into a door. Habit 3. Master your emotions. Most people react first and think later. Criticism hits, you snap. Stress rises, you panic. But emotional strength isn't about suppressing feelings. It's about creating space. Even 3 seconds between stimulus and response can change everything. Habit 4. Learn from mistakes. And this is why most habits fail. People treat mistakes like proof they should quit. But mistakes aren't failures. They're data. Scientists don't call failed experiments proof, they're worthless. They call it information. Your life works the same way. Habit 5. Set clear goals. Most goals fail because they're vague. I want to be successful. I want to be fit. Those goals sound good, but they don't guide action. Instead, ask one question. What's the smallest step I can take today? Put on the running shoes. Write one sentence. Small actions repeated daily create massive change. Habit 6. Cultivate self-love. Many people try to change through self-criticism. You're lazy. You always fail. But you can't hate your way into becoming someone you respect. Self-respect fuels growth. Habit 7. Surround yourself with positivity. Your environment shapes your mindset. If you're constantly surrounded by negativity, doubt, and complaining, those attitudes slowly become normal, not because you're weak, because you're human. Choose the people who challenge you to grow. Habit 8. Reduce distractions. Willpower is limited. Trying to resist distractions all day is exhausting. So instead of fighting temptation, remove it. Put the phone in another room. Block distracting sites. Design your environment to support your future. Habit 9. Build confidence. Most people wait to feel confident before acting. But confidence doesn't come first. Action does. Every uncomfortable step you survive builds confidence. One rep at a time. Habit 10. Get a hobby. And this is the habit I mentioned earlier. The one most people completely overlook. Get a hobby. A hobby reconnects you to joy. It reminds you that your value isn't only tied to productivity. And strangely enough, when you allow yourself time for curiosity, creativity, and enjoyment, you become more focused, more energized, and more motivated in every other area of life. Sometimes the habit that quietly changes everything is the one that reminds you you're human. Remember the person lying in bed at night, scrolling and dreaming about becoming the best version of themselves? That person wasn't lazy. They just hadn't learned the real secret of change. Transformation doesn't come from the perfect routine. It comes from one decision. Who am I becoming today? Not tomorrow. Not when you feel ready. Today. Start small. Forgive yourself when you stumble. And keep showing up. Because consistency, not perfection, is what builds the life you want. The best version of you isn't waiting somewhere in the future. They're built by the decisions you make today. This is the Better Days Effect. Make today one of them.